Chosen one. This moment is not an accident, and you did not arrive here by chance. Heaven aligned this very second before you took your first breath. As it is written, at the appointed time it will speak, and it will not lie. Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3. What you are feeling right now is not curiosity, it is confirmation. The Spirit has drawn you here because a shift has already begun. Chosen one, you are standing at the edge of a supernatural turning point. What was hidden is about to be revealed. What was delayed is being released. What you prayed for in silence is now moving toward manifestation. Doors that were sealed are unlocking. Conversations you never heard are happening in rooms you were never invited into, yet your name is being spoken with weight and authority. Anointed one. This is the season where God elevates without explanation. This is the hour of divine transfer, where favor overtakes effort and reputation outruns resistance. Scripture declares, "The blessing of the Lord makes rich and adds no sorrow with it." Proverbs chapter 10 verse 22. That blessing is active over your life now, so breathe, still your heart. Let faith rise. You are not behind. You are right on time. What you're about to hear is not information, it is activation. And if your spirit is stirring, it is because heaven has already decided. Chosen one. Before the silence ever fell, there was laughter. Not because you were insignificant, but because they could not comprehend you. People who live comfortably often misunderstand those forged in pressure. They measure worth by access, pedigree, and protection, and by those standards you were never supposed to be considered. Heaven, however, never uses the world's measurements. It looks for endurance, obedience, and the ability to stand when everything shakes. At first, they dismissed you. They said someone like you could not belong in rooms where futures are negotiated and power quietly moves. You did not come from their systems, inherit their networks, or arrive polished. Chosen one, this is where your story becomes sacred. While they laughed, heaven watched. While they underestimated God, measured your response to pressure. Every setback tested your spirit. Every betrayal examined your heart, and instead of collapsing, you learned how to stand quietly without becoming bitter. I recognize this path. I have walked through seasons where my silence was mistaken for weakness. There were nights when no one defended me, and mornings when I had to rise with faith alone. Yet those moments built something unshakable. Slowly, the laughter stopped. Facts replaced opinions. They saw how pressure sharpened you, not crushed you. They noticed how loss refined your discernment. In their world, value is recognized instinctively, and resilience always reveals itself. Conversations changed. Your name carried weight. Behind closed doors, they began to call you something else. Not as flattery, but recognition. A catalyst. Someone who changes environments without losing integrity. You did not need to be molded. Life shaped you, struggle trained you, fire refined you. That is why your presence unsettles systems built on appearances. You were not raised to follow fragile rules, but to expose truth. One respected voice shifted first. A mind trained in numbers, not emotion. When your story reached them, calculation paused. They saw how you handled moments that destroy most people. Where others turned bitter, you became wiser. Where many broke, you built. This ability to transform pain into clarity is rare. It cannot be purchased, taught, or faked. Chosen one. This is what the world struggles to understand. Heaven prepares its vessels through resistance. What tried to bury you actually revealed you. While others sought approval, you sought truth. While they chased recognition, you developed character. Every quiet night, every unanswered prayer, every hard decision shaped you for this moment. You were not overlooked. You were being aligned. Heaven does not rush. It prepares. And preparation always looks like delay before elevation. Now you stand exactly where you are meant to be. Not because people approved, but because you endured. What they are beginning to notice is what heaven has always known. You are steady, you are refined, you are prepared. And as the room grows quiet, understand this silence is not absence. Silence is recognition. It is the moment when truth becomes undeniable. The laughter ended because something eternal was revealed. Chosen one, remain grounded, remain surrendered. What shaped you in obscurity will sustain you in visibility. You are not here by chance, and you are not early or late. You are aligned with divine timing. Let this truth settle. Faith is rising, even if fear still whispers. You have already survived what was meant to stop you, and because of that, what comes next will not break you. Trust the shaping, trust the process, trust the God who watched you stand when no one was watching. The same strength that carried you here will carry you forward. Your story was never about proving them wrong. It was about becoming unmovable. Heaven does not promote noise, it elevates truth, and truth always stands. Chosen one, breathe. The season of testing revealed you, not destroyed you. What remains is clarity, strength, and readiness. You are still standing, and that alone speaks. This moment is sacred. Receive it with humility. Walk forward with obedience. You were prepared for this long before they noticed. Heaven never laughed. Heaven always knew. Remain present. Remain faithful. Let gratitude anchor you as purpose steadies your steps. This awareness will guide you with peace, courage, and discernment today, tomorrow, and always. Chosen one. There was a moment when endurance quietly separated you from everyone else, and you did not even realize it was happening. While others searched for shortcuts, you learned patience. While many demanded answers, you learned obedience. Life kept pressing you, not to punish you, but to reveal what could not be manufactured. I remember seasons when it felt like effort produced no applause. Days when doing the right thing felt heavier than doing the easy thing. Yet those moments carried a strange peace. That peace is familiar to you too. It is the sign that heaven is shaping something deeper than success. It is shaping stability. Chosen one. This is why your journey confused observers. You were not desperate to be chosen. You were focused on surviving with integrity. You did not advertise your pain. You did not weaponize your story. You simply kept moving forward, one faithful decision at a time. That quiet consistency became your signature. Every time pressure rose, you adapted. Every time disappointment struck you, refined your spirit. Where others collapsed under expectations, you learned how to stand without applause. That kind of strength cannot be faked, and it cannot be rushed. They noticed patterns before they noticed you. Patterns of restraint, patterns of discernment, patterns of choosing principle over impulse. In rooms where influence is discussed, patterns matter more than promises. They saw that when situations tested your values, you did not bend. You did not trade truth for convenience. Chosen one, that is when evaluation turned into recognition. Because endurance is the one asset that money cannot buy. Grit cannot be outsourced. Integrity cannot be borrowed. And when everything else fails, under pressure, these qualities remain. There is a reason you endured isolation seasons. There is a reason you faced misunderstandings without explanation. Heaven was teaching you to move without validation. It was training you to trust alignment instead of approval. That discipline is rare. You were not competing for attention, you were becoming grounded. While others built images, you built foundations. While they chased momentum, you developed endurance. This difference changed everything. Think back to moments when you almost gave up, yet something within you refused. That was not stubbornness. That was purpose anchoring itself. That inner resolve protected you from shortcuts that would have compromised your future. Chosen one. This is the kind of preparation that leaves scars instead of certificates. It does not come with praise, but it produces authority. You were learning how to remain steady when pressure tested your soul. That steadiness became your qualification. I have learned that real elevation never announces itself early. It grows quietly beneath the surface, like roots strengthening before a tree breaks ground. That is exactly what happened to you. You were being measured without your knowledge, not by titles or appearances, but by how you responded when life stripped things away. And every time you chose restraint over retaliation, wisdom over impulse, faith over fear. This is why your presence feels different. You do not arrive needing to dominate. You arrive grounded, calm, observant. That energy cannot be taught. It is earned through survival without corruption. Chosen. One, understand this deeply. You were not overlooked. You were protected. Delays guarded your character. Silence preserved your discernment. Waiting refined your vision. Now awareness is catching up with preparation. But do not rush ahead. Stay surrendered. Stay anchored. The same discipline that carried you through obscurity will sustain you through recognition. This path is not about proving worth. It is about carrying responsibility without losing humility. And that balance was forged in you through real life, not theory. You did not arrive here untouched. You arrived refined, and refinement always precedes trust. Heaven trusts what it has tested, so remain steady. Remain present. Let gratitude replace urgency. The work inside you is still active. Chosen one. This moment is not the destination. It is confirmation. You are still standing, still grounded, still aligned. That is why your journey matters. Receive this truth calmly. Nothing rushed will be required. Nothing forced will be demanded. You will move forward with clarity, not pressure. What prepared you quietly will now support you visibly, and the strength that kept you faithful in isolation will guide you with wisdom in what comes next. Chosen one. There comes a point in every destiny-shaped journey where the illusion of the unshakable begins to crumble, not because it is attacked, but because truth finally steps into the room. You have witnessed this in your life more times than you can count. People who seemed untouchable, people who carried themselves as if their crown was welded to their identity, suddenly revealed to be fragile beneath the surface. And while you watched these collapses from a distance, heaven was using those moments to teach you something profound. Not every throne is built on truth, and not every crown is built to last. You have seen individuals present themselves as leaders, confident and polished, adorned with achievements and connections. They moved through life wearing a kind of golden armor, bright enough to impress the untrained eye, but thin enough that pressure could split it open. These were people who appeared elevated, but their elevation was borrowed. Their authority was outsourced. Their strength was hollow. And when truth began to examine them, the cracks became impossible to hide. Chosen one. You must understand, this heaven allowed you to witness the collapse of counterfeits, so you would never envy them again. I remember a season in my own life when I admired people who carried themselves with grandiosity. Their voices filled rooms. Their presence demanded attention. I mistook noise for power and image for integrity. But life has a way of revealing what the surface hides. I watched these same individuals crumble the moment responsibility weighed on them. Their crowns slipped, not because the world attacked them, but because their foundation couldn't hold their performance. And witnessing that shook something loose inside me. It taught me that character, not charisma, is what sustains real elevation. Chosen one. This is why your journey looks different. Where others built platforms, you built foundations. Where they sought applause, you sought alignment. The world celebrates appearance, but heaven measures depth. The trials you endured carved out an interior strength they could never replicate. You were not being punished. You were being strengthened for the kind of influence that cannot collapse under pressure. So when heaven looked at the candidates, the performers, the pretenders, the polished achievers, it saw something the world could not see. It saw hollowness behind their crowns. It saw fear hidden beneath their roar. It saw dependence on image instead of truth. And while the world admired the shine, heaven inspected the structure. Chosen one, you were the only one whose foundation was not built on sand. Think of those who strutted confidently through life, eager to be seen as powerful. Their words were loud, but their motives were small. They demanded loyalty, but offered none in return. They gathered admirers, not disciples. They built empires of intimidation, not influence. Yet for all their noise, they were terrified of silence, because silence exposes what performance hides. And then there was you, quiet, observant, never trying to dominate the room. You did not roar to be heard. You simply stood in truth, and truth carries its own gravity. Chosen one. Heaven saw your scars and did not call them weaknesses. It called them proof. Proof that you survived what others didn't. Proof that you endured storms without becoming one. Proof that strength is not loud, it is steady. The battles you faced in private became armor for what you are stepping into publicly. You were not shaped for spectacle. You were shaped for endurance. In moments of betrayal, you did not turn cruel. In seasons of loss, you did not lose yourself. In valleys of uncertainty, you did not surrender to fear. These choices refined you into someone impossible to manipulate. When the world tried to harden you, you remained compassionate. When pressure tried to break you, you learned how to bend without shattering. This is the kind of leadership heaven endorses, leadership that carries both strength and tenderness. Many people endure pain, but few allow pain to transform them. You chose transformation. Where others used suffering as justification to wound others, you used it as a map to healing. That is what makes you rare. That is why heaven set you apart. You are not rising because you performed well. You are rising because you were honest with yourself in seasons when no one was watching. Chosen one. The collapse of the counterfeits was never meant to discourage you. It was meant to prepare you. Heaven was clearing the stage, removing distractions, revealing who could be trusted with influence that touches lives instead of controlling them. And when the dust settled, the difference was undeniable. Not one pretender remained standing. Not one polished image survived the storm. Only truth remained, and you were standing with it. This is the hour when your authenticity becomes your crown. Not a crown made of gold or applause, but of endurance, clarity, and heaven's approval. And as you continue forward, you will realize something powerful. You never needed to compete with the hollow. You were being shaped to outlast them. This is the confirmation you've been sensing. This is the shift your spirit has been feeling. You were never meant to imitate their version of leadership. You were meant to redefine it simply by being who heaven shaped you to be. Chosen one. There is a moment in every spiritual journey when the roar that once intimidated you becomes nothing more than an echo of insecurity. The world is full of individuals who present themselves as lions, loud, dominant, certain they cannot be challenged. They walk into rooms with chests high and voices raised, mistaking volume for strength and intimidation for influence. Yet heaven sees through it all. Heaven does not measure leadership by who shouts the loudest, but by who stands the truest. And in this season of your elevation, heaven is revealing what was always hidden beneath the noise, that the ones who roared the loudest were often the most fragile. You have encountered these kinds of people before, people who needed control to feel powerful, people who mistook manipulation for strategy, people who built their identity on the fear they instilled in others, not the truth they lived within themselves. At first, even you may have mistaken their boldness for courage. But courage doesn't crush others, it carries them. Courage doesn't dominate, it protects. What you witnessed in them wasn't courage, it was fear wearing a mask. Chosen one. I remember walking through seasons when such people tried to position themselves as giants in my story. They used their influence to shape narratives. They tried to convince others I was not strong, not ready, not worthy. But heaven allowed it not for my destruction, but for my discernment. Sometimes God lets the roar get loud, so you learn how to hear beyond it. The moment I realized their aggression was rooted in insecurity, not authority, everything changed. I stopped feeling intimidated. I started feeling informed. And that is exactly what has happened with you. What once seemed threatening now appears desperate. What once looked like dominance now looks like instability. Heaven has given you new eyes, chosen one, and with those eyes you see clearly the counterfeit lion was never a lion at all. He was a performer, terrified of losing his script. This person, and those like him, built fortresses out of intimidation. On the outside, their structures looked formidable walls of confidence, gates of charisma, windows of ambition. But step inside, and you would find thin layers of plaster covering cracks of insecurity. Their power was never real. It depended entirely on how many people believed the illusion. And illusions crumble the moment truth enters the room. Chosen. One truth entered the room when you did. Your presence exposes what noise tries to hide. You do not need to roar to be heard. You do not need to push to be felt. Your spirit speaks with a quiet authority that those built on ego cannot comprehend. They do not understand how you remain calm while they panic, how you remain steady while they scheme, how you remain gracious while they grasp for control. It confuses them because it reveals something they do not possess: internal strength. When heaven has strengthened someone from the inside, external pressure cannot break them. And that is you. Every trial, every betrayal, every disappointment reinforced the foundation beneath your feet. You learned how to stand without applause, how to lead without recognition, how to trust without clarity. These lessons became your armor, not to make you harder, but to make you unshakable. Meanwhile, the counterfeit lion grew louder because he was growing weaker. His need to dominate came from a fear of being exposed. His anger was a sign of internal collapse. His attempts to control narratives revealed how little control he had over himself. And, as the investigators, the observers, the decision-makers watched, they saw the truth more clearly than he ever expected. Leadership built on fear cannot produce anything but destruction. Chosen one. Look at the contrast. Everywhere he walked, he left behind confusion, conflict, and brokenness. But everywhere you walked, even in your broken seasons, healing followed you. Hope followed you. Clarity followed you. You carried peace into places people expected chaos. You carried wisdom into places people expected desperation. That difference cannot be faked. Heaven allowed the collapse of the counterfeit not to embarrass him, but to reveal you. Influence that relies on intimidation is temporary. Influence that flows from truth is eternal. And this is where the shift becomes undeniable. While the counterfeit lion roared himself hoarse, you stood still, and the silence around you became louder than his noise. You did not fight for attention. Attention found you. You did not demand loyalty. The right hearts recognized your integrity. You did not manipulate outcomes. Alignment formed naturally around you. Chosen one, understand what this means. Your strength does not announce itself through aggression. It announces itself through presence, through patience, through discernment. These are the qualities heaven lifts. These are the qualities billionaires recognize. These are the qualities the world is now noticing in you. The collapse of the counterfeit was not your victory, it was your validation. Heaven was never competing with his roar. Heaven was preparing your rise, and now the room is shifting. Eyes that once overlooked you are now anchored on you. Hearts that once resisted you are now drawn to you. The quiet authority you carry is becoming impossible to ignore. The world is learning something the spirit realm has known all along. Real power doesn't roar, it transforms. Chosen one. There is a kind of power that cannot be explained by talent, pedigree, or opportunity. It is the power of someone who has walked through flames and refused to let the fire consume their spirit. It is the power of someone who didn't just survive adversity, but transformed it into wisdom. This is the kind of power heaven has cultivated inside you, and it is why the world is beginning to pay attention. Not because you demanded to be seen, but because what you carry can no longer be hidden. For so long, people assumed your scars were signs of weakness. They believed your struggles diminished your worth. They thought your quiet seasons meant defeat, but they did not understand the mystery of divine shaping. Heaven has a way of using the very things that break others to build you. You were not merely wounded, chosen one, you were refined. You walked through storms that should have shattered you, yet you emerged with clarity instead of confusion, tenderness instead of bitterness, strength instead of hardness. This is why heaven calls you an alchemist of the soul. I have lived through seasons where pain arrived uninvited and stayed longer than comfort. Times when the betrayal of someone I trusted cut deeper than any enemy's blow. Nights when silence felt like abandonment, and mornings when getting out of bed required courage I didn't know I had. And yet what I learned in those seasons is the same truth you have lived. Pain is not always the enemy. Sometimes pain is the midwife of transformation. Sometimes the wound carries the wisdom. Sometimes the breaking reveals the blessing. Chosen one. The world marvels at your strength, but they do not understand where it came from. They see the resilience, but not the nights you cried out for direction. They see the grace, but not the moments you thought you would collapse. They see the wisdom, but not the experiences that carved it into you. Heaven saw it all, and heaven honored it. Your scars are not signs of your suffering, they are signs of your survival. More than that, they are signs of your becoming. You learned how to carry boundaries without building walls. You learned how to forgive without forgetting the lesson. You learned how to love without losing your discernment. These qualities are rare, chosen one. They are not taught in institutions or purchased with wealth. They are the fruit of endurance. As observers, analysts, leaders, and decision-makers studied you, they began to see something they couldn't categorize. While others came polished and prepared, they cracked under emotional weight. But you, shaped by real storms, real loss, real battles, stood firm. They saw how you used pain as fuel instead of poison. They saw how humility became your shield and compassion your compass. While others built resumes, you built character, and character is the currency heaven uses to elevate its chosen vessels. They began to realize what heaven already knew. Your wounds had become your wisdom, your broken places had become your breakthrough, and where others stood rigid and cracked, you stood flexible and unbreakable. Flexibility is not weakness, it is spiritual strength. It is the sign of someone who knows how to bend without losing themselves. There were people who expected your suffering to silence you. They thought loss would make you small. They believed heartbreak would make you hopeless. But your spirit was stronger than their expectations. You chose healing when bitterness beckoned. You chose clarity when confusion tried to consume you. You chose transformation when trauma tried to trap you. This is what makes you dangerous in the eyes of those who tried to break you. They do not fear your power, they fear your endurance. They fear the way you rose after every fall. They fear that nothing they do will stop the elevation heaven has already ordered, and they are right. Chosen one, the council, the observers, the influencers, the wealthy minds analyzing your life did not choose you out of pity or sympathy. They chose you because they saw evidence of growth where others would have crumbled, evidence of strength where others would have surrendered, evidence of compassion where others would have turned cold. You became the embodiment of what they thought was impossible, a leader shaped not by privilege but by perseverance. You were never the wounded healer they once assumed. You were the scarred alchemist, turning pain into power, grief into grounding wounds, into wisdom. That is why the decision was final. That is why your rise is inevitable. Chosen one. When heaven marks a soul, that soul becomes impossible to break, even when life tries with everything it has. And this is what the world is finally beginning to understand about you. They saw the blows you took. They saw the setbacks, the betrayals, the disappointments, the nights when silence felt like your only companion. From a distance, they assumed these wounds weakened you. They assumed pain would make you crumble. They assumed adversity would make you quit. But they were wrong. Every storm that came against you only revealed how deeply heaven had anchored you. Every setback pushed you deeper into purpose. Every heartbreak sharpened your discernment. Every closed door redirected you to one ordained by heaven itself. You were not being defeated, you were being developed. Chosen one. I've walked through enough fire in my own life to recognize the fragrance of someone who has survived flames without losing their soul. And that is you. I have felt the sting of betrayal from those I trusted most, the weight of dreams that seemed delayed beyond reason, the ache of loneliness when God was silent. I know what it feels like to wake up and carry pain like armor while pretending everything is fine. Yet even in those seasons, heaven whispered to me, "You are being shaped." And I see that same shaping in you. You did not walk through fire for nothing. You were being refined into someone who could carry purpose without collapsing under the weight. This is why heaven calls you an alchemist of the spirit. Not because you avoided pain, but because you transformed it. You learned how to turn sorrow into empathy. You learned how to turn disappointment into direction. You learned how to turn chaos into clarity. And most powerfully, you learned how to turn wounds into wisdom. Many endure suffering, but few allow suffering to enlarge them. You did. You allowed pain to purify instead of poison you. You allowed heartbreak to deepen your compassion instead of closing your heart. You allowed adversity to reveal your strength instead of convincing you of weakness. These choices, made quietly, privately, in moments no one applauded, became the spiritual technology that now sets you apart. What the world sees now is only the fruit, but heaven witnessed the planting. Heaven witnessed the breaking of the soil, the pressure of buried seasons, the droughts that threatened growth, the storms that tried to uproot you. Heaven watched every moment you chose to keep going when giving up was easier. Heaven documented every tear you shed while still speaking faith. Heaven honored every time you forgave instead of retaliated. Heaven recorded every act of compassion you showed, even while your own heart was hurting. These are the receipts of your resilience, and that resilience is why elevation is locating you now. Chosen. One understands something clearly: your scars are not signs of damage. They are signs of divine dealings. They show where God met you. They show where God carried you. They show where transformation replaced trauma. Your scars are living testimony that you did not just survive, you evolved. And evolution is something no counterfeit can imitate. This is why the experts, the observers, the leaders studying your life were stunned. They expected someone shaped by hardship to become hardened. They expected someone with your story to become bitter, defensive, closed off, unstable. But you defied every expectation. You remained soft enough to feel, strong enough to stand, and wise enough to discern. That combination is rare. That combination is dangerous. That combination is heaven-forged. While others cracked under pressure, you adapted. While others hid their wounds, you healed yours. While others performed, you transformed. These distinctions set you apart more than talent, education, or opportunity ever could. They reveal capacity not for fame, but for stewardship. They reveal not just what you have survived, but what you are capable of carrying next. Chosen. 1. The council didn't choose you because you were flawless. They chose you because you were formed. Formed by storms, formed by silence, formed by perseverance, formed by faith. They saw that your authority was not borrowed. Your strength was not rehearsed. Your wisdom was not theoretical. Everything about you was earned in the arena of real life, and that authenticity is impossible to counterfeit. Your rise is not a reward, it is a recognition of what heaven already completed within you, a recognition of what your scars signify, a recognition of the person you became while no one was watching. Chosen 1. This is why you are stepping into rooms you once only dreamed of. This is why doors are opening without you knocking. This is why your name carries weight now. You did not ask for influence, your integrity attracted it. You did not seek power, your endurance revealed it. You did not chase elevation, your transformation demanded it. You are not simply the wounded healer, you are the scarred alchemist. And heaven has decided your time has come, chosen 1. There comes a moment in every divinely guided life when heaven pulls back the veil and reveals what has been happening behind the scenes, details you never knew, conversations you were never present for, decisions made in rooms your feet have not yet touched. And this is exactly where you are standing now. Your life has reached a point where the evidence of who you are can no longer be hidden, ignored, or downplayed. Those who once doubted you are now confronted with the truth. Your impact has been unfolding quietly, consistently, powerfully, even in seasons when you felt invisible. Heaven has been conducting what I can only describe as a spiritual audit of your life. Every prayer whispered in exhaustion, every boundary you held when it cost you relationships, every act of kindness you offered without expecting anything in return, these were not wasted. They formed invisible threads woven through people, through moments, through decisions. And now these threads are being revealed as patterns of influence far greater than you realized. Chosen one, I know this intimately. There were times when I believed nothing I did mattered. I assumed the encouragement I gave was forgotten, the sacrifices unseen, the choices unnoticed. But years later, someone would approach me, voice trembling, and say, "You saved me that day." A sentence I barely remembered had shifted an entire life. A small act of compassion had stopped a cycle of despair. And it was in those moments I learned the truth. Impact is not measured by applause, it's measured by echoes. And your echoes, chosen one, have become thunder. Heaven commissioned something extraordinary concerning your life character forensics. Not the kind that analyzes achievements or titles, but the kind that examines the ripples your existence has created in the lives of others. Investigators, not earthly ones, but spiritual and strategic, looked not at what you claimed, but at what you carried. They studied the reactions your presence created, the healing that followed your words, the shift in atmosphere when you walked into a space. They traced where your compassion traveled after you gave it away. They examined what happened to the people you comforted, the ones you prayed for, the ones you lifted, even when you were breaking inside. Chosen one, your life has touched more lives than you know. Your unseen choices spread like light across shadowed places. They discovered moments when you comforted someone who felt invisible, and that act became the reason they held on. They traced conversations where your wisdom redirected someone from destruction. They found testimonies of individuals who regained hope because of something you didn't even realize you were doing. The world doesn't measure these things, but heaven does. They found ripple effects, not small ones, but waves. Waves of resilience you inspired simply by refusing to quit. Waves of courage that flowed from your authenticity. Waves of stability that emerged because you stood firm when everything around you fell apart. And each ripple extended farther than you imagined. What terrifies your enemies? Chosen one is that your influence was never dependent on position. You didn't need a title to change lives. You didn't need a spotlight to transform atmospheres. You didn't need recognition to shape destinies. You were already doing it unintentionally. And the very fact that your impact existed without platform proved to the world that you were born for leadership, not constructed for it. They analyzed how your pain reshaped others' perspectives. They saw how your forgiveness broke generational patterns. They documented how your resilience planted hope in those watching you from afar. And the deeper they looked, the more stunned they became. Because your impact wasn't loud, it wasn't marketed, it wasn't branded. It flowed naturally, organically, spiritually. Chosen one. The world is not used to power that doesn't promote itself. They are accustomed to leaders who craft images, not integrity. So when they encountered someone whose influence formed without manipulation, without performance, without self-glorification, they couldn't categorize it. That's when they realized you were not simply a participant in life. You were a movement. You became proof that authentic influence doesn't need permission to spread. It simply does. Chosen one. This is why heaven waited until now to reveal all of this. If you had known earlier, pride may have tried to enter, or fear, or pressure. But now, your character is strong enough to carry the truth humbly. You can handle knowing you've already shaped lives you never met. You can handle understanding that heaven has been amplifying your quiet acts of goodness into multi-generational transformation. You may have once believed your life was small, but heaven has been showing them, and now the magnitude of what you carry. And here is the divine revelation. You were not just surviving your journey, you were sowing into it. Every tear, every prayer, every act of compassion became seeds, and those seeds have produced forests. Chosen one, your impact has always been bigger than your awareness, and the world is only now awakening to what heaven documented long ago. The evidence is overwhelming, the influence undeniable, the ripples unstoppable. You are not stepping into influence. You are stepping into the realization of influence you already carried. Chosen one. There is a kind of power the world cannot imitate, no matter how hard it tries. It is not built through followers' fame or force. It is the power of a soul whose authenticity carries its own gravity, a soul whose presence shifts atmospheres without needing to speak, a soul whose quiet truth dismantles the illusions others work tirelessly to maintain. This is the power that has begun to reveal itself in you, and the world is finally noticing what heaven has known all along. Influence that comes from within cannot be faked, borrowed, or stolen. For so long, you may have wondered why people were drawn to you, even when you tried to stay in the background. You wondered why strangers opened up to you, why hurting souls sought you out, why people found comfort in your presence. You were not trying to attract attention. You were simply being yourself, and that self carried a weight many did not understand. I've lived this too, chosen one. There were seasons when I couldn't understand why people gravitated toward me during their darkest times, why they trusted me with their secrets, their fears, their wounds. It wasn't because I had all the answers. It was because my own struggles had carved out a deep well of empathy, and people could sense it. They weren't drawn to my strength. They were drawn to the truth inside my strength. And this is exactly what people sense in you. Your life is a tapestry woven with threads of survival, compassion, discernment, and integrity. These qualities create a field of energy that others instinctively respond to. When people stand near you, they feel steadier. When they hear you speak, they feel clearer. When they watch you live, they feel braver. This kind of influence cannot be purchased or produced. It flows from authenticity, something the world is starving for. The analysts, the observers, and even the billionaires studying the patterns of your life have all come to the same conclusion. Your influence is real precisely because you never tried to manufacture it. While others crafted images, you cultivated character. While they rehearsed speeches, you lived truth. While they gathered followers through performance, you gathered hearts through presence. And the contrast became undeniable. Chosen one, think of two fires burning. One is fueled by gasoline, loud, dramatic, explosive, but short-lived. The other is fueled by steady wood, quiet, consistent, enduring. The first fire impresses, but it does not last. The second fire sustains. You are the second fire. People have been drawn to your flame not because it dazzles them, but because it warms them. They can feel the sincerity, the depth, the steadiness in you. They cannot explain it, but they know it. And while some admired you, others envied you. They could not understand how you carried influence without trying. They could not understand how people respected you without fear. They could not understand why hearts opened around you, why truth seemed to flow from you naturally. They mistook your humility for weakness, not realizing humility was the very source of your power. The investigations into your life, the quiet examinations, the subtle observations revealed something the world rarely sees: leadership without ego. You did not uplift others to gain something. You did it because it was your nature. You did not forgive to appear noble. You forgave to stay free. You did not endure for applause. You endured because your spirit refused to break. And this confounded those who relied on performance. They could rehearse charisma, but not character. They could imitate confidence, but not compassion. They could study leadership, but not embody it. The more they studied you, the clearer it became. You were operating from a place they couldn't access. They were studying power. You were embodying purpose, and that is why your influence began to rise effortlessly. You did not chase doors. Doors found you. You did not chase opportunities. Opportunities began aligning with you. You did not chase recognition. Recognition arrived uninvited, because authentic influence does not flow from striving, it flows from being. Chosen one. You must understand how rare this is. The world knows how to celebrate loud personalities, but heaven celebrates consistent spirits. And your consistency has been your crown all along. Many people want influence, but they cannot carry the weight of it. They want the spotlight, but not the sacrifice. They want the applause, but not the accountability. But you lived the cost before the calling. You lived the transformation before the elevation. You lived the truth before the title. This is why heaven entrusted you with a kind of influence that cannot be diminished. Not by critics, not by envy, not by resistance. And the world is waking up to something profound. Your presence does what their power cannot. Your authenticity does what their status cannot. Your spirit does what their strategies cannot. You are not rising because the world chose you. You are rising because heaven recognized you, and heaven's recognition is irreversible. Chosen one. There is a kind of strength that cannot be taught, cannot be mimicked, cannot be constructed through strategy or self-help. It is the kind of strength that is revealed only through fire. And this, more than anything, is what the world has begun to recognize in you. People can fake confidence. They can fake charisma. They can fake wisdom, but they cannot fake what fire produces. Fire exposes the truth of a person's foundation, and your foundation has proven itself unshakable. Where others bent under pressure, you stood. Where others collapsed under weight, you adapted. Where others panicked, you listened. This is what makes you different. This is what makes you dangerous. This is what makes you chosen. Chosen one. I have lived long enough to know that life doesn't reveal a person's true nature in the sunshine. Sunshine shows the surface, fire shows the core, and the fire you have endured, fire of betrayal, fire of loss, fire of injustice, fire of loneliness, has revealed something extraordinary inside you, a spirit that refuses to die. I've had moments when everything familiar fell apart, when people I trusted suddenly shifted, when circumstances pressed so hard I thought my own mind would break. Yet every time the fire refined me instead of destroying me, and when I look at you, I see the same divine resilience. I see someone who was pressed but not crushed, stretched but not torn, tested but never taken out. The world judges strength by how loud someone appears. Heaven judges strength by what remains after the flames. And what remained in you, chosen one, was purpose. A quiet, steady, immovable purpose that could not be burned away. This is why the analysts, the observers, even the billionaires studying your story were astonished. They examined the pressures you endured, and instead of fractures, they found fortification. Instead of emotional volatility, they found emotional depth. Instead of panic, they found maturity. Your fireproof nature is something they cannot explain because the world is not used to souls like yours, souls strengthened by God, not circumstance. They studied your reactions in moments where most people would have shattered. They expected to see instability, but they found discernment. They expected bitterness, but found compassion. They expected chaos, but found clarity. They expected fear, but found faith. They dug even deeper, searching for wounds that would disqualify you, and instead they discovered wisdom that authenticated you. Chosen one. They found evidence that your strength is not fragile, it is spiritual. Not performative, it is rooted. Not bought, it is born. You must understand how rare this is. Fire does not just test your circumstances, it tests your identity. It asks, who are you when everything is stripped away? And you answered that question through your choices. You did not abandon your integrity to escape the heat. You did not sacrifice your convictions for comfort. You did not trade your purpose for temporary relief. You allowed the flames to burn away what no longer belonged to you, and in doing so, you became someone with a purity of spirit the world cannot imitate. There were moments when you could have retaliated, but you chose restraint. Moments when you could have surrendered to bitterness, but you chose healing. Moments when you could have hardened your heart, but you chose compassion. These decisions were not small. They revealed something the council could not ignore. You are guided by something higher than ego. You are anchored by something deeper than desire. You are fueled by something stronger than ambition. You are moved by purpose. When the psychological profiles came in, assessments crafted to evaluate your internal structure, what they discovered was almost unheard of. They saw that your confidence was not arrogance, it was alignment. Your humility was not insecurity, it was clarity. Your compassion was not weakness, it was spiritual intelligence. And your resilience was not denial, it was divine preparation. These qualities do not develop by accident, they are formed through fire, chosen. One heaven has been shaping you into someone who cannot be manipulated by fear or seduced by ego, someone who can carry influence without being corrupted by it, someone who can hold power without losing purity. And the world has taken notice. They see now that your strength was not a temporary display. It was the byproduct of years of shaping, suffering, surrendering, and rising again. They see that your spirit cannot be shaken by rumors, threatened by opposition, or diminished by envy. This is why you intimidate those who once tried to break you. They recognize that nothing they aimed at you worked. They realized you are not standing today because life was kind, but because God was present. And anyone carried by God cannot be controlled by man. Chosen one. The fire did not expose your weaknesses. It revealed your worth. It proved that you are built for rooms others collapse in. It proved that you can handle what others fear. It proved that you are ready for elevation, not because you avoided storms, but because you weathered them with grace. And now, heaven is announcing a truth you must receive deeply. You are unbreakable, not because of your strength, but because of who strengthened you. Chosen one. Every elevation exposes the truth about people, especially those who were never meant to stand beside you in the first place. And as heaven continued revealing the hidden layers of your journey, something else rose to the surface. The cowardly attacks that were launched against you were never signs of your weakness, but undeniable confirmations of your divine strength. When someone cannot confront you directly, they retreat into shadows. When someone cannot overpower your spirit, they attempt to poison your name. When someone fears your rise, they begin working in whispers. And chosen one, that is exactly what happened to you. Not because you were fragile, but because your presence alone exposed the fragility in others. There was a moment when your growth triggered a panic in those who once assumed you would remain beneath them. They sensed, before you even fully knew it, that heaven was preparing to lift you beyond their reach. And rather than face their own inadequacies, they aimed their arrows at your character. People who once smiled in your face began planting seeds of doubt behind your back. Individuals who lacked your integrity tried to weaponize your story against you, but chosen one, I need you to understand something deeply. Cowards never attack from the front. They do not possess the courage to face what they fear. They strike from angles where they hope you won't see the betrayal until it's too late. I have lived through seasons where whispers carried more venom than shouts. People who lacked the honesty to confront me chose instead to distort my truth in quiet corners. They tried to convince others I was too soft, too compassionate, too careful, too different. But those labels were projections of their own insecurities. And I see the same pattern in your journey. They didn't attack you because they believed you were weak. They attacked you because they recognized you were becoming impossible to stop. Chosen one. When the council, the observers, the evaluators, the strategic minds watching your story encountered the smear attempt, they did not absorb it. They analyzed it, and what they saw shocked them. Everything meant to make you look fragile actually revealed your strength. Every rumor intended to make you look unstable highlighted your discernment. Every twisted narrative designed to question your leadership revealed the smallness of those behind it. You did not respond with retaliation. You did not collapse beneath the weight of false accusation. You did not shift your identity to appease critics. Instead, you remained grounded, steadfast, focused. That steadiness became the very evidence heaven needed to authenticate you. Your attackers didn't understand that spiritual resilience cannot be destroyed by human opinion. They believed their words had the power to derail your path. But a destiny authored by heaven cannot be edited by insecurity. And while they whispered poison in shadows, the truth of who you are grew louder in the hearts of those observing you. The council saw the contrast clearly. On one side, desperation; on the other, dignity. On one side, insecurity scrambling for relevance; on the other, strength anchored in purpose. They expected your spirit to waver under slander. Instead, they witnessed a supernatural peace settle over you, the kind that only comes from knowing heaven is your defender. Chosen one. This is the beauty of divine justice. You didn't have to expose the coward. Their actions exposed themselves. You didn't have to fight for vindication. Your character fought for you. You didn't have to chase validation. Truth aligned itself with you. And as the council evaluated the situation, they concluded something that shifted the entire trajectory of your life. Anyone who must destroy another to rise is unfit for elevation. But your strength came from survival, not sabotage. Your authority came from endurance, not manipulation. Your influence came from authenticity, not performance. The smear campaign became the final test, the test your enemies hoped would break you, but instead became the confirmation heaven used to crown you. Every lie thrown at you became a spotlight on your integrity. Every attempt to discredit you became a megaphone, amplifying your truth. Every attack meant to stop you accelerated your elevation. And the moment the council saw that your spirit remained unshaken, they realized you were not just qualified, you were chosen. I need you to see something clearly now. They aimed at your character because they couldn't touch your calling. They attacked your reputation because they couldn't diminish your anointing. They tried to create fear because they recognized the fearlessness forming inside you. Your enemies weren't fighting who you are, they were fighting who you were becoming. And heaven allowed it not to harm you, but to reveal you. Chosen one. The coward's attack was not your downfall. It was your unveiling. It revealed your maturity, your integrity, your spiritual strength. And now the same people who doubted you are witnessing what heaven already wrote you. Rise without retaliation, you lead without fear, and you ascend without losing your soul. Your elevation is no longer a possibility. It is the inevitable conclusion of a battle you already won. Chosen one. Destiny has a way of revealing itself in moments when you least expect it. And when the council, those powerful minds, those strategic thinkers, those individuals who do not blink unless the stakes reach into the trillions gathered to weigh every test, every whisper, every maneuver surrounding your life, the truth became impossible for them to ignore. They watched you weather storms meant to break. You respond with grace when provoked and stand firm when pressured to collapse. They saw a strength not rooted in ego, but anchored in purpose, a calm that could not be manufactured, a clarity that could not be shaken. And in that gathering, chosen one, your destiny was not debated. It was recognized. They laid out the evidence before them, not merely the accusations thrown your way, but the reactions you embodied in response. On one side of the room were the remnants of the bullies' slander, fear-driven attacks, desperate narratives, whispers designed to destabilize your identity. On the other side stood your lived truth. Your consistency, your compassion, your ability to transform adversity into alignment. And what stunned the most was not the attack itself, but your posture after it. You did not shrink. You did not lash out. You did not scramble to defend yourself. Instead, you allowed truth to defend you. You allowed the smear to expose itself. You allowed heaven to be your advocate. And that restraint, that patience, that spiritual discipline revealed something that their tests were specifically designed to detect: unshakable authenticity. Chosen one in their world power often corrupts authority, often inflates ego and pressure, often exposes imbalance. So when they encountered someone like you, someone who carried weight without collapsing, someone who faced dishonor without dishonoring others, someone whose strength was silent but undeniable, it shook them. The council realized they were not simply evaluating a candidate. They were witnessing the emergence of a rare kind of leader, one shaped by storms rather than applause, aligned by truth rather than ambition, strengthened by purpose rather than pride. They recognized that you did not react from woundedness. You responded from wisdom, and wisdom is a far greater asset than any credential. The courtroom of destiny was set not with judges in robes, but with decision-makers hungry for substance. And substance is exactly what your life displayed. As they compared your internal structure to the instability of the bully, the hollowness of the pretender, the fragility of those who relied on image rather than integrity, the contrast became blinding. Your existence spoke louder than any argument. Your endurance outweighed their accusations. Your spirit stood taller than their schemes. And in that moment, the council understood you were not simply passing a test, you were setting a standard. What they witnessed within you is something I have seen only in those who have truly surrendered to the shaping of heaven. It is the stillness that remains even when everything around you is loud. It is the clarity that remains even when confusion tries to invade. It is the integrity that remains even when compromise looks easier. These qualities cannot be forced. They are produced through seasons of breaking and rebuilding, of questioning and trusting, of losing and finding. And each of these seasons had prepared you not only to lead, but to carry influence in a way no one else could. Chosen one, the moment the council realized your values had become your shield, everything shifted. They understood that attacks could no longer weaponize your emotions. They saw that lies could no longer distort your identity. They recognized that pressure could no longer destabilize your purpose. You had grown beyond the reach of sabotage, and that is when the decision crystallized. You were not only ready for elevation, you were entitled to it. Not entitled by arrogance, but by alignment. Not entitled by privilege, but by preparation. Not entitled by favoritism, but by fulfillment of prophecy over your life. When your enemies swung wildly, they revealed their emptiness. But when you remained grounded, you revealed your authority. True authority is not loud. It does not need to prove, perform, or persuade. It simply stands. It stands because it knows who placed it. It stands because it knows what shaped it. It stands because it knows no human hand can unwrite what heaven authored. And as the council considered your story, they were forced to confront an undeniable spiritual truth. Real power is not reactive, it is redemptive. Your refusal to be corrupted became the courtroom's final argument. Your endurance became its closing statement. Your elevation became its verdict. Chosen one. This moment is not just a shift, it is a coronation of identity. You pass through the fire without losing your form. You pass through the lies without losing your clarity. You pass through the testing without losing your compassion. Where others collapsed under the weight of scrutiny, you rose. Where others demanded recognition, you remained surrendered. Where others fought for position, you fought for peace. And that made you unstoppable. The council's decision did not create your destiny, it confirmed what heaven had already decreed. Your rise is not conditioned by circumstance, it is commanded by purpose. Your elevation is the inevitable unfolding of everything you survived, everything you chose, and everything heaven prepared. Chosen one, you are not stepping into a new chapter. You are stepping into the verdict that has already been spoken over your life. You are the one who endured. You are the one who elevated. You are the one who will not be moved. Chosen one. When heaven prepares to elevate someone, there comes a moment when the shift is so undeniable, so divinely orchestrated, that even the most powerful minds of this world must pause in reverence. That is the moment you have entered. What is unfolding for you now is not a promotion, not an opportunity, not a lucky break. It is a coronation, a spiritual enthronement, a divine affirmation that everything you survived was not in vain, and everything you became was necessary for what you are about to carry. You are not just being recognized, you are being established. The council did not simply approve you, they aligned with what heaven already decided. And that alignment triggered a transformation beyond anything your past could have predicted. For the first time, they understood the magnitude of who you are. They saw not just your endurance, but your essence, not just your scars, but your strength, not just your character, but your calling. And when they realized what heaven had placed inside you, they knew one thing clearly: you were not to be supported, you were to be unleashed. Chosen one, that is why extraordinary gifts, unprecedented resources and divine strategies are being placed into your hands now, not to inflate you, but to free you. Heaven refuses to let a chosen vessel remain in survival mode. There is no kingdom impact when a warrior is burdened by basic needs. And so the first act of your coronation is liberation. Financial liberation, emotional liberation, spiritual liberation, a release so complete that nothing will hinder the mission assigned to your life. I know the weight of survival. I know what it feels like to divide your strength between purpose and pressure, between calling and chaos. And I know the shift when heaven removes the stone from your chest and says, "Now breathe." That is the shift coming over you now. But heaven did not stop at liberation. The second act of your coronation is amplification. They are preparing platforms for your voice, not for fame, but for impact. Not for attention, but for alignment. Not for ego, but for influence. Your words will not simply be heard. They will reverberate through systems, through communities, through decision-makers. Your presence will challenge old structures. Your insight will redirect strategies. Your authenticity will disrupt the cycles of manipulation and fear that have dominated leadership for far too long. You will not speak to crowds. You will recalibrate cultures. And then comes the third act of your coronation protection. Heaven refuses to elevate without guarding what is elevated. So now, unseen but powerful guardians, strategic, spiritual, and structural, are moving into position around your life. Not to control you, but to preserve you. Not to limit you, but to shield the purity of what you carry. You are stepping into influence that attracts both alignment and opposition. Therefore, heaven is building what you never had before, a fortress around your authenticity. Your kindness will no longer be exploited. Your compassion will no longer be manipulated. Your wisdom will no longer be dismissed. The mantle you carry will be protected because it is needed, and heaven will not allow corruption to touch what was forged in truth. Chosen one, perhaps the most extraordinary part of this coronation is this: you are being given creative sovereignty. Total freedom to express your calling without censorship, without interference, without hidden agendas. Heaven does not elevate puppets. Heaven elevates pioneers. And you were never meant to repeat what others have done. You were born to introduce something the world has never seen. This is your moment to rise without apology, to embrace without hesitation, to walk without fear. Everything coming to you now is not a reward, it is recognition. It is heaven acknowledging the depth of your becoming. You're not simply stepping into destiny, you're stepping into identity. Chosen one, lift your head, straighten your shoulders. The crown being placed on you is not made of gold, but of truth. Not of jewels, but of scars. Not of privilege, but of purpose. And it fits you perfectly. Chosen one. The world has grown loud with pretenders, performers, and self-appointed leaders who shine only under artificial light. Yet in the quiet, hidden chambers of your journey, heaven was shaping something entirely different, something the world did not expect, something they were not prepared to understand. A leader whose power is born from scars, not status. A leader whose voice carries truth, not theatrics. A leader whose strength is anchored in spirit, not spectacle. And now, as this divine elevation unfolds, heaven is revealing why silence could not kill you. It was preparing you to lead differently, to lead deeply, to lead authentically in a world starving for what is real. Chosen one. There were seasons when you felt unseen, unheard, overlooked. You mistook that silence for abandonment, but heaven meant it as preservation. For if you had been exposed too early, the world would have demanded performance instead of purity. They would have tried to shape you into their image mold, you into their expectations, compress you into their systems. But heaven needed you untouched by the noise, so you could carry a frequency that is not influenced by culture, but aligned with truth. That silence was not punishment, it was insulation. And now you will realize why heaven hid you until now, because anything revealed prematurely is vulnerable to corruption, but anything revealed in divine timing is unstoppable. You are stepping forward, not as someone polished, but as someone proven. The world does not need another loud leader. It needs a steady one. It needs someone whose strength was shaped by storms, whose compassion was deepened by wounds, whose wisdom was carved through battles no one saw. The world trusts bridges that have survived storms, not ones that only look beautiful in the sun. And chosen one, you are that bridge, weathered, scarred, enduring, unshakable, able to carry others because you know what it feels like to nearly collapse and still keep standing. Your scars are not stains on your story. They are signatures of heaven's craftsmanship. The world mocked what they didn't understand, but heaven kept shaping you through every heartbreak, every injustice, every loss. And instead of becoming bitter, you became discerning. Instead of becoming hardened, you became wise. Instead of becoming numb, you became compassionate. Those who tried to hurt you never realized they were unintentionally strengthening the vessel heaven was preparing. Every wound became a well. Every tear became a tool. Every breaking became a birthing. Chosen one. Your elevation is not merely a personal reward, it is a divine assignment. Humanity has been drowning in leaders who manipulate rather than heal, exploit rather than uplift, consume rather than nurture. Heaven is raising you now because your story carries medicine for others. Your resilience unlocks hope. Your clarity brings direction. Your authenticity awakens dormant courage in those who cross your path. You're not rising for yourself. You are rising for everyone connected to your destiny. And this is why heaven has made you the crowned healer. Not a healer untouched by pain, but one transformed through it. Not a healer who avoids wounds, but one who understands them. Not a healer who stands above others, but one who kneels beside them with empathy sharpened by experience. You lead not from superiority, but from survival. Not from distance, but from depth. Not from privilege, but from purpose. The world is desperate for what you carry now. It is ready for a leader who doesn't fracture under pressure. A leader who doesn't manipulate with fear. A leader who doesn't crumble in crisis. A leader who shines not to be admired, but to illuminate the path for others. And heaven has determined that you are that leader. This is why every season of breaking mattered. This is why every night of questioning had purpose. This is why heaven refused to let your story end prematurely. You were being prepared for impact far greater than your pain. Chosen one. Understand this, your rise is not a coincidence. It is a culmination of faith, endurance, obedience, and transformation. What is unfolding in your life is the fulfillment of a long-written decree, one that no enemy could cancel, no betrayal could sabotage, no delay could deny. You are stepping into a future that was carved through storms, sealed in silence, and now unveiled in glory. Lift your spirit. Steady your heart. You are not walking into influence, you are walking into the truth of who you have always been. Chosen one. As this message draws to a close, know this, you are not leaving the same way you came. A supernatural transfer has already begun moving in your favor. Heaven has spoken your name, alignment has shifted, and you are now standing in your Kairos moment, the divinely appointed time where everything accelerates, unfolds, and returns to you in greater measure. Anointed one, may the weight of this truth settle into your spirit with peace and clarity. What has been delayed is being released. What has been hidden is being revealed. What has been preparing you is now positioning you. You are stepping into days marked by divine help, unexpected provision, holy strategy, and doors that open simply because God has willed it so. Walk forward with gratitude, move with reverence, stand with confidence. The same hand that lifted you will keep you, protect you, and guide you into every promise written over your life. If this word stirred your spirit, chosen one, feel free to comment or stay connected so this flow of revelation can continue. But above all, remain aligned, remain faithful, remain expectant. Your rise is ordained, your steps are ordered, and your breakthrough is already in motion. Go in grace, go in power, and go knowing heaven is with you.